Hey everybody, welcome to Rusty Crumpets. I'm really hoping this video is going to help somebody out. If you're watching this, you probably or possibly might know what a nightmare the Ford Advanced Track RSC system can be, you know, sending off warning lights and things like that. And that's what was happening with this one. Just a few basics. So it's a 350 Super Duty XLT. This is important, I want to start this up here. And it runs fantastically well, so that's really not the issue. See if you can see the odometer there. So it's at 57,224 miles, and that's actual mileage on this van. And it's an 07, so it's very, very low miles. And the RSC light just kept going off. First it was once in a while, it was intermittent and stuff like that, and then it was just constant. I mean, and it's really annoying. And I want to go over kind of how we solve this and fix this. Okay, so we're going to skip a couple of things here. I'm not going to talk about the wheel speed sensors or the toner rings on the rotors. You need to make sure those are absolutely not the culprit on the RSC alarm going off. And that was the case here, as those checked out fine. This is the yaw rate control sensor, and this is the original one to the van. And it looks brand new, and you know, when you only got 57,000 miles on you, you should look in pretty good shape. And this is the component that seems to be the most major villain in this story. When the other things I mentioned, the speed sensors and the toner rings are fine, this gets the blame, and you cannot find a new one. In fact, I had trouble finding a used one. And, you know, they just don't want to sell them to you because they've got a really, really bad reputation, really high failure rate, according to most people. And I got to tell you, I think it's a bad rap. There's a good shot of what the problem is right there. That's the thing that is causing everything not to work for the RSC system. And these are all together. There's a wire harness, and I'm going to show you where that's at. But there's a connector, and you can pull the connector and you can check for continuity. And the continuity on this wire is just fine. The wire's not broken. It's the insulation is rubbed away on it. And what happened is this insulation, on that wire was touching the metal frame of the van and sending false signals to the anti-lock brake system, which was sending off the RSC alarm and everything else. And I'll explain as we go. It's a very frustrating situation that honestly should not have come into play. Okay, but where this is at, so this is the driver's seat here in Ghidorah, and it's actually right about here. Okay, behind this fascia, this panel, whatever you want to call it. So about shoulder high is about where this was at on this vehicle. It might be different on yours. And you can see there's a couple panels, because this was a school bus, it wasn't a cargo van. So it's going to be a little different if you got the cargo version. But that all has to come off. Might as well take the driver's seat out, because you know, it's just a nightmare anyway. And that goes up into the roof line. And through this column, from down here, the anti-lock brake system, the wiring runs over here, runs through this column, and it runs up through the roof, and then it comes down this other pillar, which you can't really see, and under right there to the yaw rate control sensor. And what was happening is the wire that was in right behind this column here, right about here, was touching the frame and sending the signal off. And you'd hit the road right and it'd bounce away, and you know, then it'd go off, and then you'd hit another bump, and so on and so forth. And this harness is under there. Now there's a plastic clip in this harness, in the wall there, that's supposed to hold this harness away from the body to keep it from rubbing. And he cut all these out because you can see See there's some other wear and tear. I mean, it's coming through. It's not quite as bad. There's another one here. I think it's that pink one. Anyway, there's other spots where it was rubbing through on the other wires, so eventually it was going to come out. So he just cut it out, spliced in some good wire right about here, and that is it. And that fixed it. Now, the reason I think the yaw rate control sensor gets a bad rap, it took me, again, this is the new one. So it took me forever to find somebody that would sell me a used one. I got one out of a Texas salvage yard. It had 220,000 miles on it. It had like 7 codes in it. But he wanted, my mechanic asked if I could find one, then we could kind of compare. Because he said something was just weird about it. This shouldn't be bad, this new, right? With that low a mileage. So we did, cleared it, because you have to reinitialize these things when you swap them out. You just can't throw it in and go down the road. It doesn't work. So we did that, cleared the other one through the exact same codes in the exact same order this one did. And he thought that was suspicious. So there's like a, I don't know what it's called, like an information interchange for mechanics. You guys out there would know that better than me. And he literally found it on page 190 something out of 300, dealing with RSC problems and what people found for solutions. There's only one entry. It was December 2015 that mentioned a loose wire. And he also mentioned you have to inspect it visually because the continuity check, the wire is good, because it's not broken, it's just touching the frame. So if you pull the wiring harness away from the frame and check it, well, it's going to test fine. And then you put it back. Well, anyway, somebody, I don't know if it was a Friday or what, there was just a sloppy install, sloppy build from the factory. But this module, not this one, but the one I replaced it with had 220,000 miles. It was also from an 07, same exact part number, and it works fine. It has not thrown a code. It has not had any alarm problems, and it's got what, 4 times, well, yeah, at least 4 times the mileage on it this one does. And once we solved that wire, once we figured out, oh, where'd it go now? Oh, there we go. Once we figured out it was that, just that little piece there, that solved it. So it's got all new wiring inside that pillar there next to the driver's seat. And so it's something you might check. It's a simple fix. I mean, there's a lot of rigmarole. You gotta take those bolts out, take the seat out. You know, you gotta take all this paneling out. You know, that goes all the way up. It's a 2-piece, so that, you know, it stops where that seat belt's at. But you really need to get at it. From what I've been told, you kind of got to pull that all away. So it's a pain. But inspect that wire. This is the white wire with the blue trace. And you also have, I'm just going to go through the colors. There's a black, and there's a pink with the blue trace, and there's a yellow with a brown trace. There, I'll get the camera. So there's the yellow and brown, pink and blue, black, and the culprit on mine anyway was the white and the blue. So check that out, and hopefully this will save somebody just a lot of headaches and swearing or sending a vehicle to the junkyard or getting rid of it or parking it because you know, you can't find the fault in it. So that's it, guys. RSC warning light caused by that little stinking break in there touching the frame of the body inside that pillar. Good luck. I hope you get it fixed and have a lot more miles.